So how did this whole fake Valentino mini backpack saga end? Welcome to my channel, I'm Dani, and if you've just clicked on this video and you've not watched part 1 of this 2-part series, I've linked that video in the description box below. But in summary, I bought a Valentino mini backpack which turned out to be fake. In this video, I'll talk about what happened after as well as the outcome. Over here was a video that I published a while ago, and that was when I was scammed purchasing a Louis Vuitton mini pochette in Damier Azur. In that video, I did mention that there was another scam debacle that I was involved in, and this is the debacle that I was referring to. This issue was in fact resolved a number of weeks ago, but it was such a whirlwind of events that I got angry every time I thought about it. So I had to let time pass to let myself calm down so that I could sit through preparing this video. I did lose some money and I'll share that with you towards the end of the video. In terms of where we left off from the last video, it was me taking the item to the post office to send it back to Spain. I'm going to call this day 1. And this was one day after the seller had agreed to take the parcel back. At this point, it had also already been logged with eBay that the item was being returned because it was verified as a counterfeit item. Now, because the seller had confirmed that she was going to accept the return, I thought that as soon as I posted the item and put a valid tracking number on eBay, I would then be issued my refund. Bow, bow, first disappointment. So it seems that the seller has to receive the item first before you will be issued your refund. Anyway, there was nothing I could do but wait. Now, unfortunately, because at that time, COVID was all the rage in Australia, there were many flights that were being cancelled, and it took 2 whole weeks for the parcel to actually leave Australia. And from there, it took another 2 weeks for the item to get to Spain. Holy cow! Funnily enough, while the item was in transit, so before it actually arrived in Spain, the seller opened a case with eBay. And I got a notification from eBay saying that because the seller opened a case, my case was closed. And I wasn't privy to any of the details of the case. Again, at that point, there was nothing I could do because the item hadn't even arrived in Spain. Okay, so the item has now arrived in Madrid at Spanish customs. Great. I was feeling very hopeful. I was thinking, okay, it's in Spain, it's in the country. Sure, it's like a number of hours drive between the seller's address and Madrid, but you know, it's doable. How long do you think it takes for a parcel to get from Spanish customs to a local address? That was about 7 hours drive. Let me give you the answer. In this situation, never. Let me tell you the story. It was so frustrating watching the parcel just sitting at Spanish customs, and I was like, what on earth is going on? What on earth is customs doing? So I then opened a case with Australia Post. Dear Australia Post, the item is tracked to Spain. What is going on? Why is it not moving from there? Here's where I have to give Australia Post a glowing review. They did really well. So they investigated the case and it was about 1 week's turnaround. They got back to me to say that Spanish customs were holding on to the item because there may be duty required. So this means that Spanish customs was probably trying to charge import duties and taxes to the seller. And then Australia Post then said that, you know, they have no control over the issue now, that it's with Spanish customs, and they gave me the contact details of the local postal service in Spain and said I could get in touch with them. And they also gave me some pretty helpful general advice about how I can get my refund expedited. You know, contacting my credit card company, explaining the situation, yada, yada, yada. And this whole time I couldn't do anything because my case was closed because the seller had opened a case. So I wrote to the seller to say, look, I've spoken to Australia Post. It seems that you need to pay some duties and taxes to get the item sent to you. So what is going on? It was only at that point that the seller said to me, can you please send me back the original documents that was sent to you with the bag? And I think she needed that document to prove that the item originally came from Spain to avoid customs and duties. She never asked for it before. In any case, I could not provide them because I had thrown them out and I said, I assumed the bag was authentic and that's why I threw out those documents. I never in this whole wide world expected that you would need it back. Her follow-up response was, I'm so sorry to let you know that I've just received notification from the tax agency that they are blocking the package and willing to destroy. The day after this message from the seller, I got a notification from eBay and it said, We reviewed all the details of this case, and unfortunately, we can't give you a refund verbatim. Those were the words. No other words of explanation, no nothing. And this was day 70 after I posted the item to Spain. You can imagine how angry I was. Like, how angry I was. And at this point, I was also getting really anxious because it was coming up to the 5-month mark since the date of purchase. So I had the option of submitting an appeal via eBay, and so I did. And I sent them all the evidence again with the luxury authentication screenshot to say that this item has been verified inauthentic, and essentially just challenged eBay and said, are you telling me that you support sellers who sell fake items on your platform? I also raised the case with my credit card company, and they reassured me that fraudulent activity is taken very seriously, and as long as I had all the evidence and the case was ruled in my favor, I would get all my money back. So that was nice. They encouraged me to raise a case with them as well as with PayPal because I did pay through PayPal. And that's one good reason to go with PayPal because there's an extra layer of protection. Anyway, this was very promptly picked up by eBay. And I got a message from eBay saying, your case was closed, because remember I appealed the case. Your case was closed because we were notified that you filed a payment dispute with your payment institution. The nerve. In any case, because I work for a very complex institution, I am aware that these establishments don't like having lots of people doing overlapping investigations. So I just left it with PayPal. I didn't raise a claim with my credit card company. I thought just leave it to one party to do it. And if PayPal doesn't come through for me, at least I have my credit card company as the next line of defense. Fortunately, 10 days later, I got notification from PayPal saying that the case was closed in my favor with a full refund of 616 euros, and that had already been issued. And it could take up to 30 days for the refund to appear on my credit card statement. I was so relieved. So after that, of course, I was checking regularly to see whether my refund had come through. And funnily enough, 2 days after I was notified by PayPal that I would be issued a refund, there was the full refund in my credit card account from eBay, not PayPal. So I was like, I went back and checked my eBay account, and there was this message that had mysteriously popped up above the prior statement indicating that I was not eligible for a refund. And this was not a separate message, and I did not get any notification of this message. It looked as though like the previous message was just edited. eBay had written, we reviewed your case again and changed the original outcome. We issued you a refund and you should receive it in the next 3 to 5 business days. So eBay must have gotten a message from PayPal and decided to change the outcome. I was relieved and frustrated at the same time because if only they had done their job correctly in the first place, I would not have had to go through all this angst. The other thing that made me really pleased about this outcome was that eBay issued the refund in Australian dollars, and eBay refunded me the entire amount that I paid for the item as well as postage of the item to myself. Now, typically, when you return an item, it is the price of the item that is refunded, not the postage. So that was one thing I was really pleased about. The second thing to note is when an item is refunded, it is refunded in the currency that the seller had sold it to you for. So in this case, I should have been refunded in euros, and the amount that is refunded goes according to the exchange rate on the day of the refund. Now, at the time that I got my refund, there was this problem just starting in the world, and the currency exchange was going a little bit haywire. And you would think an event like that would cause the euro to plummet, but no. The Australian dollar had actually fallen against the euro, and if I received a refund in euros, I would have lost approximately 100 Australian dollars. So I'm very glad that I got all of my money back from this transaction. Now, I did say earlier in the video that I did lose some money, and what was that? So remember I paid for the delivery of the item to return to Spain. That cost me 55.20 Australian dollars. And I also bought a custom insert from Samorga for that bag, and that cost me about $20, I think. So all in all, I'm out of pocket about 70 to $80. Actually, I forgot that I had also paid 25 Australian dollars for authentication fees. So all in all, I was out of pocket 105.20 Australian dollars. So if we just look at the outcome, I had a good outcome. But it took 82 days for this outcome to come to fruition. Oh my gosh, and it was stressful as well. Now, in my last video, I said that yes, I would still be willing to shop on eBay for luxury items, but to tell you the truth, since this incident, I haven't bought any luxury items off eBay. I mean, that's partly because I started dabbling in Vestiaire Collective and I've just shopped off Vestiaire Collective. I mean, eBay now has their own luxury authentication system. So that's one good thing, I guess, one layer of protection. Although I was very disappointed with this experience, in all my years shopping on eBay, eBay mostly sides the buyer. This time they did as well, but it took a really long time. So I can't say that I will never shop for luxury items on eBay again, but it would be a very calculated decision. I'd be looking at what the item is, how much I really want the item, the price of the item, and whether the risk is worthwhile, taking a look at the seller, and of course, always pay with PayPal and your credit card. If you found this video informative, please give me a like. If you think I deserve a tip for this video, go ahead and select Super Thanks, where you can nominate a monetary amount to contribute to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Either way, thank you so much for watching this far into the video. If you missed part 1 of the saga, I've linked it over here. If you want to watch my video on the other time that I got scammed on eBay, I've linked that one up here.